Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysum. I am super excited to continue this new series on web handling, past, present, and future. In this short clip, we will outline some key moments in web handling history. Why, you say? Simple. Because those who are not familiar with history are doomed to repeat its mistakes today. To paraphrase a Bell Labs saying, a month in your plant is worth an hour in the library. Not a very good trade. It is the sin of reinventing the wheel. Wouldn't it be a shame to struggle with wrinkling and not know there is an entire chapter in 2 different books on the subject? Wouldn't it be a shame to struggle with winding defects and not know that there are dozens of chapters in dozens of books on the subject? In this short clip, we will highlight some key events in web handling history and why they matter today. In short, as I said, it is because those who are not familiar with history are doomed to repeat its mistakes today. Going way back, textile looms were the first to do tensioned web handling about 2,000 years ago. However, most date the science of web handling to about 200 years ago. Specifically, it was the invention of the first continuous paper-making machine. The Ford Rainier, still in use today, is named after its French inventors. These early designers needed to solve many mechanical problems, such as roller design, construction, and maintenance. They needed to solve many control problems, such as guiding and tensioning and, shortly after, winding. The paper industry since has set records for speed, width, and productivity, as well as many aspects of precisions and reliabilities. At the turn of the previous century, web machinery, much like automobiles and tractors, were designed by craftsmen and engineers and machinists. Much of this early art and science was lost in the engineering records and drawings of companies who may not have preserved these documents or may have since went out of business. Still, we can see in this very early case tractor instruction manual from 1904 some very specific web handling language. It describes the guiding of belts using a combination of careful alignment and crowned pulleys. It describes the challenge of crooked splices that we still suffer from today. Still, while some engineering records and some companies have been lost, there are several entities that have survived a century. Here I give 3 examples. The predecessor of the Beloit Corporation was formed in 1858 to make paper and other machinery. It became the largest and arguably most proficient of the web machinery builders until its economic demise just a few years ago. Among their many achievements, Beloit developed computer-aided drafting, computer-aided manufacturing, and finite element modeling that was without parallel outside of the largest aerospace and automotive companies. TAPI, one of the oldest and largest of the web industry trade organizations, was formed in 1915 to serve the paper industry. Since then, it has embraced other webs such as films and nonwovens. Its test standard generation and book publishing arms are unparalleled even today. the predecessor of the paper film foil converter magazine, was formed in 1927 and continues today. It is one of the longest continuously published magazines in any of the web handling industries. As we get closer to modern times, we must showcase the Web Handling Research Center that was formed in 1986. I was one of their earliest employees as well as one of their first PhD students. I managed the lab, worked with the professors on industrial outreach, and completed my PhD thesis in winding in 1989. This was the first time that the science of web handling crossed industries. Until then, every industry was on their own to figure things out. This was the first time that the words web handling became a term that is now recognized in 10,000 plants around the world. Of course, much has been left out of this very short treatment of web handling history. If you want to know more, we have 3 single-spaced pages of details in the appendix of our new book. Of course, many of you will want to know much more than just history. I am super pleased to announce the one must-have reference in web handling, the Web Handling Handbook, to be published by Destech later this year. This must-have reference was written by 3 of the most recognized names in web handling: Dr. David Roysum, Dr. Dilwyn Jones, and Tim Walker. If you send me an email at drroysum@aol.com, I will put you on a mailing list for the announcement of the book's availability. Thank you so very much for letting me share this brief history of the art and science of web handling. Stay tuned for the next segments where we will assess where we are at and where we are going in web handling. See you next time.